What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video with yours truly, Khalil Jordan. Y'all already know about the thunder untitled what this video is. Do I need to say more? No, I do not. Hope y'all having a great morning. Where I'm at right now is currently 4:19 in the morning. Can you see the 4:19. Let me get another one. There we go, 4:19. Who that right there? That's me. Stupid ass. But look, man, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Go ahead and show love, man. Welcome to the GNL squad. And we're going global, not local, man. Let's get it. Let's go. If y'all already on the channel, share the video, like the video, share the smile. You know that's not subscribed, so that way they can subscribe and like the video. Now let's get into the video. Stupid ass boy.
Drowning accident. Malcolm Jamal Warner died at the age of 54 on a drowning accident while he was vacationing with his family in Costa Rica.
I am tired of running for shade. And aren't you tired of being hustled and played? And aren't we all tired of crying about how hard it is to be Black in America, even if it looks like we've got it made?
Has this been difficult for you?
Yeah. Because when you watch someone who you know and love, go through what he's going through.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, the beloved actor who rose to fame as Theo Huxtable, is gone. And his final message? It wasn't just a goodbye. It was a warning.
And if for some reason you can't find a reason to smile, then that's probably the best time to be the reason for somebody else to smile.
And now that he's passed, people are starting to ask the real questions. Why wasn't anyone listening? Why does it feel like every time someone speaks out, do they end up silenced?
But freedom has its limits, so here we are. Tears.
Yes, they do. Example, what happened to Kyrie? He was silenced. If somebody else had spoke out. There was that football player when he took a knee, and I think he got kicked out of the NFL. I forgot his name. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though.
Street and salt-stained faces. Traces of trauma and pain lace our DNA like our Black pride is cut and laced with self-hate.
Was this just another tragedy? Or part of a pattern that's getting too hard to ignore? Let's get into it. Malcolm Jamal Warner's sudden death has left fans in shock, and others in deep suspicion. The 54-year-old actor, beloved for his role as Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show, reportedly drowned while vacationing with his family in Costa Rica. Authorities claim it was a tragic accident, a drowning caused by strong currents off the coast of Cocles Beach in Lyman.
Reports that the 54-year-old was in Costa Rica on a family vacation and accidentally drowned while swimming.
The Associated Press reported that the local police initially reported that Warner was rescued by people on the beach, but first responders from Costa Rica's Red Cross found him without vital signs.
Reports that the 54-year-old
Timing
swimming
was taken to the morgue, but the story doesn't sit right with signs, and he was taken to the morgue. His Red Cross found him without vital signs, and he was taken to the morgue. But the story doesn't sit right with everyone. The timing, the circumstances, and, most disturbingly, the message he left behind just days before his death. All of it feels too eerie to ignore. Warner wasn't just on vacation. He was on a mission to tell the truth.
Can you tell me the fate of the people who consciously take the bait and embrace the very traits placed upon them by their captors, who by design are inclined to keep them believing they're second rates? I'll wait.
In the final episode of his podcast, Not All Hood, released just 2 days before his passing, Warner delivered what fans are now calling his farewell message in disguise. And what he spoke about wasn't lighthearted or surface level. It was raw. It was urgent, and it was deeply personal. Warner reflected on a recent exchange he had with spoken word artist Tamika Georgia Me Harper, who challenged his podcast's title. When he told her it was called Not All Hood, she immediately interrupted, Ain't nothing wrong with the hood.
Damn, her forehead going crazy, boy. Good God Almighty.
Hood, she immediately interrupted.
Ah! But you get headbutt somebody with that forehead. What? Bow! Say something wrong to me. Bow! Stupid.
Ain't nothing wrong with the.
What's wrong with
That
forehead?
brief comment sent Warner down a spiral of reflection. He realized that the media has long sold one version of black culture, the hood narrative, while ignoring the richness, the nuance, and the power behind it.
You know, the reason for the title is combating the narrative of black life, black culture that the media focuses on.
He wasn't distancing himself from the hood.
That's real.
He was calling out the system that exploits and
That's real though. That's all they try to put out there. As a message. That's all we known for. Y'all realize in a lot of these black movies, it's always the same typical baby mama, baby daddy issues. Growing up through the trenches, somebody getting shot at and trying to make it out the hood, just trying to make it out, trying to grind. You know that stuff. Some of it does actually happen, but just to keep it so stereotypical is, all we got is hood. All we know is ghetto and hood. And then we be looked at by our own people like we lame or weird because we don't want to be part of the same cattle. We want to stand out and be different. So you weird for being different. I guess I'm just fucking weird then. I'll be weird or lame.
Understands it. In his own words, the hood side, ultimately, historically, is what has always created American culture. That's not just a cultural observation. That's a bold truth about appropriation, invisibility, and stolen legacy, a truth Hollywood has spent decades trying to silence. But Warner didn't stop there. He also got personal about how his views on terms like black excellence had evolved. Once skeptical of the phrase because of its attachment to fame and wealth, Warner said a conversation about black soldiers being erased from Arlington National Cemetery's historical records changed his perspective. Black survival in of itself is black excellence, he said, not fame, not awards, not money.
We're not all hood. The black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes.
Just survival.
Facts.
That line hit hard then, and it hits even harder now, knowing how suddenly his own life was cut short. It's even harder. Survival.
Where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes.
Just survival. That line hit hard then, and it hits even harder now, knowing how suddenly his own life was cut short. It's almost as if Warner sensed something, as if he knew his time was limited, and he wanted his final message to center the truth of black endurance, struggle, and resilience. And just like that, within 48 hours of dropping this powerful, vulnerable conversation, he was gone.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it.
Warner's generation, Malcolm Jamal Warner was, and in many ways still is, known as Theodore Huxtable, as the friendly, sometimes silly, always likable only son on The Cosby Show. He became a regular presence in millions of homes. His role as Theo, a teen dealing with things like dyslexia, growing up, and the calm advice of his parents, helped shape a lasting image of someone kind, steady, and relatable. This image stuck with him for years, which brings up an important question. Who is the real Malcolm Jamal Warner behind that positive public image? Looking into the controversies and tragedies of his life doesn't reveal scandal or drama caused by him. Instead, it shows a man who has quietly faced serious challenges, from painful personal loss to the heavy legacy of a show now overshadowed by controversy. Through it all, Warner has stayed thoughtful, steady, and true to himself. By exploring how he handled the fallout from the Bill Cosby scandal, how he coped with heartbreak, and how he avoided the downfall that hits many child stars, we see a different side of him. Someone who turned tough experiences into strength and grew into a mature and respected artist.
It's difficult not to, not to feel something, have some kind of emotional response to, what this person is going through.
The biggest and most difficult controversy in Malcolm Jamal Warner's career wasn't something he caused. It was something he got pulled into because of his connection to Bill Cosby. Warner's response showed just how complicated the situation was. He found himself caught between personal loyalty, public pressure, and the emotional weight of being part of a show that meant so much to American culture. To really understand his reaction, you need to know how close he was to Cosby. Cosby didn't just work with Warner, he shaped his life. He chose 13-year-old Warner for the role of Theo after a nationwide search. On set, Cosby led by example. Warner often said that despite being a huge star, Cosby never acted like it, and that taught him how to stay grounded. Cosby also gave him creative advice, like avoiding trendy slang so the show wouldn't feel outdated. Years later, Warner said this was true. When he watched the show with his daughter, it still held up. Their bond was a mix of mentorship and fatherly guidance, which made the later scandal even more painful for Warner.
My biggest feeling is I feel sad for, just the way this whole, just the way the whole story has come about.
When over 50 women came forward accusing Cosby of SA, Warner was pushed into the spotlight. His response wasn't a simple defense. It was careful and emotional. In a 2015 interview, he said, "He's one of my mentors. Just as it's painful to hear any woman talk about SA, whether true or not, it's just as painful to watch my friend and mentor go through this." That one quote shows how torn he was, wanting to respect the victims while also admitting how hard it was to watch someone he looked up to fall. He didn't defend Cosby, but he also didn't turn his back on him. As he put it, "I can't defend him, but I won't throw him under the bus either." Warner also criticized how the media handled the story, calling it a circus and pointing out that not all the accusations were the same. He wasn't trying to excuse Cosby, just asking for a more thoughtful conversation. It was a difficult, painful tightrope walk that showed how emotionally heavy this chapter was for him. A big part of Malcolm Jamal Warner's pain during the Cosby scandal wasn't just about the personal accusations. It was about the damage done to the Cosby Show's legacy. He often said the thing that hurt him most was seeing the show pulled from syndication. For Warner, the Cosby Show wasn't just a job. It was a cultural milestone that gave America a different, more positive view of black families. "We've always had the Cosby Show to hold up against that," he said. "And the fact that we no longer have that, that's what saddens me the most. In a few generations, the Huxtables will just be a fairy tale." He was also honest about how the show being pulled hurt him personally. He pointed out the double standard, how work by filmmakers like Woody Allen and Roman Polanski was still being shown, while The Cosby Show was completely erased. He admitted that the financial hit was real, saying, "It's literally taking money out of my pocket." So, while part of his frustration was about culture and representation, part of it was practical too, showing that the fallout affected both his beliefs and his livelihood.
After having had such a long path and long journey, you have something like this that you've got to contend with.
Warner's feelings about the controversy didn't stay the same. They changed over time. At first, he agreed the show's legacy had been tarnished. But then, a conversation with his TV sister, Keshia Knight Pulliam, who played Rudy, shifted his thinking. She reminded him that the show had inspired generations of people, especially young black viewers, to go to college and dream bigger. And that kind of real-world impact couldn't be erased. Warner later said, "Her saying that really shifted my perspective." That moment was a turning point. It helped him move from focusing on what was lost to seeing what the show had already given the world. Instead of letting the scandal define the legacy, he began to argue that its positive impact could still stand on its own. This shift showed Warner's ability to reflect, grow, and hold on to a more hopeful view, one that separates the art and its influence from the mistakes of man behind it. His emotional journey, From sadness to frustration to reflection, explored many paths.
In this
All right. He ain't really saying much, y'all. I was about to down there fall asleep, but I ain't gonna count to you. Cause I mean, I understand the message, but shit, get to the point. Dang. Trying to think what else. I'm gonna live stream again later on in the morning. I'm tired as fuck right now. I ain't gonna count. Just got out of work, bro. Still trying to, get some content in. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna live stream again for y'all in the morning. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, you already know what I'm finna say, bro. Like the video and subscribe, man. It's that easy. If you're already on the channel, welcome to the family. We're going global, not local. Share the video to somebody that you know that ain't local. And like the video, man. We out. Y'all have a good morning and good night, whatever area in this world that you're in that you're watching this video on. We out on game.